Hey everyone. So there's a new event that was just released, which is actually an old release with some changes made to it. And honestly, I'm kind of excited for this event. I think there are some decent rewards out of it, and I think a lot of people should be excited, depending on if they're able to get this 4-star Michonne's Wakizashi. Now, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more content and information, and now we'll jump right into it. So for this challenge, there's only 2 roadmaps this time, which is a lot easier to manage. You're not waiting around for specific roadmaps to open, and it's less confusing in my opinion. The one roadmap that's free to open is repeatable every 8 hours, meaning you can do it 3 times a day. It's one act, and there are 3 stages in it. The reward is a mystery bag, and it contains a varying quantity of kendamas, at least 1, which is good, but it seems that you need 10 to open the weapon chance roadmap, which is the one you should be really excited for. So you can only do it once a day, and that means you need to get 10 kendamas over the 3 roadmaps at the start. It's only open for 30 minutes when you do open it. There's 3 acts with 3 stages each. Act 1 it's easy, 1 weapon choice bag, 10 bloody glass for each stage, so that's a total of 30. For Act 2 it's hard, there's 3 weapon choice bags, 20 bloody glass each stage, which means that you could get, I'm guessing it's still 3 acts per stage, so 60. And then for Nightmare, it's 6 weapon choice bags and 35 bloody glass each stage, which is 95 total. I think that Scopely should put up some more collections for Bloody Glass because I know some people have actually completed everything for them, have collected everything, and I don't think it's fair that people are working towards a reward that they can't use, especially if they spent to get the final rewards already. Now, the weapon choice bag content. What you want is this 4-star weapon. There's a legendary drop chance, so I'm going to guess that's like 1% chance. Now, this weapon is also in the 4-star weapon wheel, and later on in this video, I'm going to show some film about how I use this weapon actually, and why I think it's a really awesome weapon to have. There's some chances at varnish, engine grease, cutting fluid, mechanis file, 1500 armory tokens, and the armory tokens are also super valuable here in my opinion. Now, the reason why this 4-star Michonne's Wakizashi is so valuable is because the 3rd slot on it, bonus AP, receive plus 20% AP at the beginning of each wave. This is the same as the blue weapon which you can craft, but this one gives 20% on a yellow weapon to self, which can be very valuable on a toon like Aarav. And I'm sure many of you have seen turn 1 rushing Aaravs on defense, so I'm just going to show you a couple examples of a team that you could make for defense as well as offense. So I already have one of these weapons, and I made it a 5-star weapon. I also made my Aarav's weapon a 5-star weapon, which lets me weapon swap it onto him. It's not a perfect weapon. My last upgrade on it was only plus 3% attack instead of plus 5%. So when I have more armory tokens, hopefully from this roadmap, I will be able to reset it and upgrade the attack on the weapon as well, and maybe come up with like a plus 10% rush bonus damage for Aarav so that he can attack more effectively. So I'm just going to set up kind of a random defense at the moment, just to kind of show you guys how this team would function. I'm going to use my Mercer lead. Aarav has a plus 20% AP weapon to self. Maggie as well as Nick have 8% AP weapons. And this last toon, I am going to go with Marlin and Rosie for now, but they're not exactly needed. So I'm going to defend on the first turn, and as you see, my Aarav on defense goes off right away, which is something I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen in the past wars, where Aarav is just able to rush immediately if you're not able to control him, and then you end up with a team that either has 1 or 2 toons standing, or maybe no toons standing. I have the option here, I could throw in Priya as well, and if I had a 20% AP weapon to self, then Priya would also be able to go off on turn 1 with the right commands because of that 20% AP to self, just kind of like Aarav also does. So Aarav is able to rush there. He's able to kill off 2 of my toons immediately. If Priya had a 20% AP weapon to self and say Rampage, she would probably be able to kill everyone else on my defensive team. So the offensive team that I kind of just put together as an example of something that anyone could really run if they have an S-Class Aarav and if they've picked up Ivanova, and it doesn't have to be Ivanova, it just has to be a melee attack lead that gives Aarav extra attack as well as a huge bonus to AP when attacking. So the way that this team functions, Ivanova gives a huge bonus to AP when attacking. She also has my team player weapon, which ups my teammate's attack by 15%. So that helps Aarav out. That's why I want to use her, because my team player weapon, the only one that I have, is green. And by being lead, she affects everyone. I have Nick and Maggie with 8% AP weapons. And then I'm using 5-star Eugene with a 20% AP weapon to self, but he does not have a huge bonus to AP when attacking. It's just a medium bonus, which is naturally on the weapon. The reason I'm using Eugene is because his 45 AP is very fast, meaning I can use a command tune on the first turn to rush him. He does minus 50% defense to up to 3 enemies for 2 turns, so this will help with Aarav and his killing ability. Now, with Aarav, we have to remember that because he gains 100% AP whenever he rushes, he desperately needs a maim resist mod or an exhaust resist mod so that Angel as well as Leopold doesn't exhaust him to death. And just to understand some of the math behind this, 66 AP times the 20% AP weapon gives 14 AP to self, a huge bonus on the weapon gives plus 10, base plus 20, and then a huge leader gives plus 10 as well. So 14 plus 20 plus 10 is 54, and then 2 8% AP weapons give 6 AP each, which rounds up to a total of 66 AP. Now, this type of team would work better with a Dr. Stevens, of course, because of the 60% AP, but this is all we have to work with because I don't have a Dr. Stevens. So this type of attack team I would primarily use against defensive teams that don't have a true defensive lead. I would also not use it against a Mercer lead just because Mercer creates so much RNG with the tunes that he has the ability to actually stun, so it's just not worth the risk in my opinion. So as you can see, because I command rushed Aarav on the first turn, it means he can't rush on the second turn, which is obviously a problem. And that's why Dr. Stevens is a better option, because you can get Aarav to rush naturally on the first turn, meaning he can rush up to 3 times on the first turn because he would get his AP naturally from Dr. Stevens, he would rush a line, and so long as he killed at least 1 tune, he would get follow-up to trigger, allowing him to rush again. And then finally, you could command rush him in order to rush one last time. This can also be done with Priya with a 20% AP weapon to self, with Rampage, for example, and that's just a couple of examples of what you could do with a team like this. This film is completely raw from war. I actually just filmed this about 10 minutes before posting this video, just to kind of show you guys that there is actual application with it. And I'm going to try one more team actually, just because Eugene gives a unique AP rush. When he rushes, he doesn't only do minus 50% defense to 3 tunes, he also gives plus 20% AP to 2 tunes. So I'm just going to show you one more example of using Eugene and using a different weapon actually for this team, just to show that you don't need to have 2 20% AP weapons to self. You can just run one on Aarav and then have 8% AP weapons to supplement the rest of the team. So again, you do need 8% AP weapons, or you need Dr. Stevens, but otherwise in this team, I was able to sub out one of my yellow tunes for Green Glen, another command tune, and I gave Eugene an 8% AP weapon to self. So because the rich get richer with AP and Aarav has 20% AP to self, when I command rush Eugene, he actually gives 20% AP over to Aarav. So that's 14 AP, 6 and 6, which is 40, plus a huge bonus, which actually gives 40 more AP because of the lead, which gives us a total of 80 AP, which is more than enough. So Aarav was able to rush on that first turn without having to have another yellow command tune. This just gives you a few more options. I like running Glenn just because he can hold a stun and attack weapon, which obviously is very valuable. Now, if you don't have Eugene, there is also another great option to use as a tune, another 5-star tune that is sometimes undervalued but is a great asset to any team really, and that is 5-star Victor. Now, the reason why Victor is such a great replacement is because his AP is about the same, and he does minus 50% defense for 3 turns to one enemy and all enemies adjacent, meaning you could use that rush on the center toon and apply that minus 50% defense to everyone. He does need to have a huge AP leader, huge AP on weapon, and an 8% AP weapon, or at least 2 8% AP weapons have to be on the team in order to use him. So I hope this video got you guys excited for this event, and I wish you a lot of luck in pulling for that 4-star weapon. And as always, thank you everyone for watching and listening to my video.